Dave.
Liam.
How are you?
I'm alright. We're going to do a DVD extra.
Yeah, it's bonus content.
It is. So welcome to our Watch It If You Can DVD extra. We're going to talk about Boxset 1 and Boxset 2. A quick review of what we've done and a bit of a deep dive.
Deep dive into our deep dives of our choices.
This won't be too long now.
Yeah, we're not that deep. Okay, so what we've done, me and Dave, we've both come planned with a couple of questions, but we don't really know how we're going to answer it, so it's going to be a little bit off the cuff, this one. First question I'm going to bring up, Dave, is it's less of a question, me just wondering. I was out with the dog recently, walking as you do.
Don't know where this is going.
And the other way you just think about, and it suddenly dawned on me, the choices we've made are not random whatsoever. There is a real obvious common theme between both our choices in Boxset 1 and 2. And when I first thought about it for a couple of examples, it was like, oh yeah. And then actually when I'm sat here with the list in front of me, I'll go through. It's really strong. Pretty much all our choices fall into these two categories. Okay, so I've noticed with your choices,
Go on.
all your films and shows centre around this battle of good, evil, and or is there a decision that's got to be made?
I'm gonna have to scroll through the list now. So, now you've said it, a couple really stand out now.
The obvious one, this is what it feels about. Untouchables is all about that decision between good and bad, isn't it?
Yeah, Elliot Ness got to make that decision as to, does he do the things that Sean Connery's character kind of wants him to do?
Okay, so the same theme is basically the centre point of LA Confidential.
Yeah, similar films. So they are similar films as well, aren't they? I picked.
And then you can actually, this idea of good and bad and seeking the truth, it all comes through all your films. So then if you think about Grosse Point Blank and Out of Sight, or it's all about what's good and what's bad a little bit, isn't it? Am I reaching here, or
no? You've said it, because Grosse Point Blank he's a hitman, isn't he? He wants to be good. Out of Sight's the same. George Clooney character's not a bad character. It's a really good shout.
Right, Crimson Tide that
really stands out now, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that's all about
decision making, isn't it?
The decision of was there a good or a bad, and there isn't. And this is what's interesting, is no clear. It's not clear if it's good or a bad decision. It's just,
well, Serenity's the same, because Serenity is all about, isn't it? Are they with the Alliance or you're not with the Alliance? It's definitely it really stands out now. There's a good or bad for you, and that's Boxset 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you go into 2.
Okay, so my cousin Vinny is exactly the same. It's a courtroom drama, so it's a question of good and bad, or a decision that's being made. Obviously, Untouchables, which is what first made me start thinking about it. Iron Giant definitely is similar as well. Okay, the only one.
What's the one that doesn't?
Superman is as well, because he's the virtue of honesty and good. So again, the theme of good and bad, and the very first opening, it opens up about the Daily Bugle and the search for the truth, which is who Superman is, and that. Frasier is a bit. But he's a psychologist. He's all about trying to find.
It's making decisions again, isn't it?
And also, what I was thinking about Frasier is quite often he gets himself in a pickle. That's the episode.
Yeah.
But then he always has to come to realisation by the end of the episode to resolve it.
Yeah, and there's a good or bad element, because obviously when Martin first moves in, they never get on, do they? So there's that decision around, like, letting them move in the first place. But then there's an element of good about because you've got the Niles is married, fancies Daphne and his dad. There's a right wrong decision there, isn't there? And the relationship Martin and Fraser. And now you've said it.
And just strange. You can see there's a dilemma.
But these are random. What we've got to touch upon is the fact that when we decided to pick our choices, I just came to you with 5, and you came to me with 5. I didn't sit and go, I want a theme or anything.
No.
And that, so say for box set 2. So I've literally picked 10 things that all link, don't they?
So it's all about characters or battling some sort of decision, and it's what's right and what's wrong. Literally, it's the themes of.
We need to bring a proper psychologist in.
It would be interesting. Okay.
So what's yours then?
Okay, so mine is all about groups of people, non-family, that are drawn together.
Like a community.
Like, exactly, which was my first. So I've got community.
Your very first choice.
Young Guns.
Yeah.
Regulators. Regulators. IT Crowd.
Yeah, they're basically a family, aren't they?
Paddington 2, yes, it's the family, but what's the message of Paddington 2? He builds that community of people around him, and it falls apart when he leaves, doesn't it? That's the theme of it. Coming to America is the one that's probably not quite in there. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Stand By Me is about a group of friends going through growing up together. City of God is the same as a group of friends. Pirates of the Caribbean is a group of characters that are thrown together to go on this quest. Bridesmaids is a group of people going
group of friends. It's getting spooky now, isn't it?
And then Band of Brothers is about a group of... And I'm just like...
So...
I'm like, okay.
Come to America doesn't quite fit. I mean, it's family related, but it's not about a group of people.
But if you remember when the first question in our box set was, why did I choose? If you remember, I said to you, I don't know why I chose Coming to America. Because it's one of my favourite films.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember, I said to you,
time.
I couldn't give you a reason why I picked this film. And I'm like thinking, is it because...
You'd already done that.
I don't know where subconsciously, I don't know what this says about us. Are you struggling with decisions of what's right or wrong? Do you? I don't think you are. I think you're
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't. It might, maybe it's not about a real life thing. It's just that that theme in movies. I like.
That's what you're drawn to.
Yeah, it's a black. If you go through that list, a lot of it's grey.
Yeah,
isn't it?
On the surface, it's this or that, but actually, it's what's in between.
Especially like if you go look at Crimson Tide, you know, watching that movie, you don't know until the last 5-10 minutes of that film who is right and wrong. And it's probably the same for most of them, isn't it?
Like Gross Point Blank, he's an assassin who's struggling with that because he goes to a psychologist. He doesn't know where he is in life. Serenity is that real quote by Nathan Fillion's character where he said, although he was on the losing side, he knew he was on the right side.
Yeah.
I think that suddenly bounces out.
And my cousin Vinny, obviously when you're watching it, I think because it does a little bit of the Columbo, doesn't it, where it shows them get in the car and you know it's not them. But if you don't have that clip, you probably think it is them. And because all the evidence is there, isn't it? Until obviously it starts to unravel when it comes in. But that's a grey area, to a point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's witnesses and.
But I think the fact that it's a courtroom is all about is it right or wrong again. Untouchables for me is the one that made me actually think this is because it's the whole theme of Untouchables.
Is that what tweaked it for you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, well spotted.
And then Superman sort of just encompasses.
So, get back to yours then. Yours is all about. It's not It's not even really families. It's communities and friends coming together, isn't it?
It's a groups of people resolving things.
Yeah. So is it just because you relate to that, or it's something that you're
Don't know, maybe.
aspiring to?
Maybe I've just got no friends. Got no family,
Please
got
get
no
in
friends.
touch with the pod on Twitter, Instagram.
I don't. It's like
Because when we were talking about Stand By Me, you were talking about thinking back to when we were, when we were kids, and all the things that kind of goes along with that. So I think in that episode you did really touch upon it, but we didn't put the connection in. Then that, because I think Community, we probably just went, we just think it's really funny.
Yeah.
That's why we.
But it's so weird how
people.
both our first choices in box one have set us on this path. And then Crimson Tide, your second, really then cements that. There's like it's. And then I've got Young Guns as my second choice, which is about a group of guys who have to come together to fight injustice, and I'm just like.
No, it's really good.
And even our society, all our choices pretty much fit. You can wedge them into those two themes coming through. So
is this going to influence our? Because we've actually already picked 3.
Well, I think this is
before you told me, so I'm going to have to go back on 3 and look and see. How
well, now I'm a bit worried. Is like, are we going to overthink our choices?
Well, no, because
we've now got set choices.
I was going to say
3,
spoilers for Boxset 3. We've already picked the themes ourselves.
There's no spoilers because it's on the intro to Box on the last episode.
Oh, we did talk about it, didn't we? We did say.
There's no spoilers. No spoilers.
Maybe if you hadn't said this, would we have picked films that still fit that theme? Because like one's 80s, 90s blockbuster.
Yeah,
we easily pick something that is.
Yeah, the hidden gem
like
as well. We could have easily picked something about this.
So, how have you found? This is obviously we've never done a podcast before.
Yeah.
How have you found creating the episodes, doing the editing, and getting it all online?
I really enjoyed it. It's been interesting. I can go back and listen to early episodes because I got settled with 2 mics. It was around episode 5 or 6. I got 2 matching mics, so I can hear the sound difference in the early ones.
Right.
Like the first episode, I think we shared 1 mic, and then I got 2 mics, but they were odd mics, and I can hear the difference in the mics, and that sounds weird. It does me head in. And then I got matching mics another couple of weeks later. There's 1 or 2 episodes that sound a little bit ropey. But where the editing, so I use GarageBand on my Mac just because I was doing a bit of research, and I already use GarageBand because I like to create music.
Yeah.
Which we did for the theme tune. I wrote the theme tune, so the editing, I've got to be honest with you, the editing bit is the bit I've enjoyed the most, and I feel like especially Boxset 2, I've managed to. I don't edit bits out, and I don't really edit mistakes because you can still hear us. But where I will do is edit. If there's been anything happen, like for example, dog or cats, or doorbell phones, I've sort of taken them gaps out, and if there's any pauses, sometimes there can be a pause, the odd and stuff.
There's been a couple times where we had to look stuff up as well.
Yeah,
and for the listener, that's not great to hear us kind of Googling.
And a few times there's been a few things I've edited out here and there, but I try to keep it natural because we're not professionals. Like, I think that's, if we were professionals, we wouldn't be sat in my spare bedroom doing it in our spare time.
The listeners just claps there in shock.
We're not professionals.
Yeah, we're literally sat in your spare room, aren't we? We're not in a professional studio, are we?
No.
But I do think they sound really clear, and I love the theme tune. I love the way it fits in, and the people who I've spoken to, who've listened to it, have all said it does sound professional. So you can only take that as a compliment.
Definitely, and I think what we've done is, from the first podcast, we had set questions, but I feel like even though we had set questions, I feel like it took us a few episodes to...
We were quite scripted, weren't we?
Yeah, I feel like I listened to... And obviously we were just talking about before, you listened, you're more critical to your own performance.
Yeah.
I listened to Gross Point Blank, and it's almost like, even though I was the one asking the questions, it was like, I just wanted to say more. I was like, I've got nothing to say. I'm just like, whoa, lad, just calm down.
Yeah, you're in the host seat this week. Yeah,
So
the host.
But I feel like we got a rhythm around. I think it took us about 6 or 7 episodes to sort of lock in a rhythm. And
I do less note. I do more notes around. Say like for the actors one, I'll probably just do the list and just talk about it. But I think prior to that, I was doing a lot more notes, and it maybe then didn't come across as natural as probably later episodes. But
and I think as well, I'm starting to realise when I'm presenting, and I've only really noticed this last couple of weeks actually, is I should. I feel like the Superman and Band of Brothers, we both did this when we went, is we asked a few extra questions as the host to try and draw different conversations to take it away from the standard questions. I felt we did that really well in the last couple of episodes. I feel like a couple of episodes, mid-Boxset 2, there's 1 or 2 episodes I wasn't feeling very well at all, and there wasn't 2 episodes and I can go back and sort of
tell.
I was like, I wasn't top form that day. And I'll tell you which one it was for me. Bridesmaids. I think that was we were both not very...
Yeah, it's Bridesmaids where like there was a couple of times we got the questions the wrong way round.
Yeah.
And then I think when you were doing your actors thing, you just totally forgot.
Yeah.
That I have that bit as well.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but I just feel like I hadn't been well a very few weeks, the week or 2 before, and then you come down the week after. So I think that was the bit we were sort of
should have cancelled, really.
We should have, like, you know.
I think the one thing I've learnt is it's a little bit like watching a movie. If you go see a film on a Friday night and you love it, you don't necessarily go the next day or the day after. You tend to go, I will see it again. And I feel like that with a podcast, when we record it and you publish them on the Monday, I think I've got to wait a good few days, got to give it a week's gap, because it's already all in my head because we've only just spoken about it. So I like to listen. That's my tip for anyone who is going to do a podcast. Record it, publish it, but before you listen to it, give it a few days to just
see.
It'll sound a bit more fresh in your head as well.
Yeah, we see it's a bit different with me, because then we generally record it.
For you have to listen to it.
And then I will listen to it like 3 or 4 times straight after, to just spot right there, I keep a note, I need to take that bit, change that bit, and then put it together, and then I listen to it 1 or 2 times straight after the edits, and then like what you said, where I can then go a couple of weeks and then come back to it, and then the critical bit is gone, because I'm not thinking I need to edit. And then I enjoy it. Like, okay, my next question I've got here, Dave, is there anything you've learned from the episodes? And what I mean by that is not like in a podcast, but anything from what we've watched. I said, oh, that was interesting, I didn't know that.
What I think I found was I totally forgot how good City of God was.
Yeah.
Because I'd only seen it the once. Band of Brothers was the same. I'm pretty sure I've only ever seen it once all the way through. So I just learned that there's some films that I think City of God, I think because I remember the violence and how dark it was, and probably Band of Brothers, because it is upsetting, isn't it? It's meant to be, it's based on true characters, and sometimes you can get something in your head and you think, well, I don't know if I want to go through that again. 10 hours of Band of Brothers. It's a lot, isn't it? But it's definitely worth it. And I think films where they stick with you, you've got to sometimes revisit them, haven't you? And I think having a 20-year gap between watching Band of Brothers as a younger man,
yes,
compared to now, you definitely view it differently. So that for me was like, don't be afraid to rewatch things that did upset you at the time. And if there's a big gap, you're watching it as a different person now.
I think, what was it? Coming to America, you said something that really stayed with me, that you said about you now see it in perspective of the dad.
Yeah, so
we were talking about the dad, weren't we? Do you know what I mean? When he only wanted the best for his daughter.
Whereas I would have found him annoying.
Yeah.
When I watched it, how old were we when it came out? So let's say if I watched it, I was 18, say. I would have found the dad the
Yeah.
most annoying character, and now I think he's probably like, after I pick him, I think I picked him as my favourite character.
I think you
didn't
did,
I?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about you?
A little bit different for me because obviously there was a few things I'd never seen. So Out of Sight I'd never seen, and I don't know why, because I remember when we did the episode there was so many things that this should be a film that I would love. It ticked all my boxes.
Clooney's in it.
But I almost think that was half the issue with the film. It just seemed to go unnoticed almost, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge...
It was strange.
Was it? 'Cause he wasn't a huge pull at the time, was he?
No. What else? Realising I've never actually watched Superman all the way through since I was probably a little kid, never mind as a young adult. So that was quite interesting to actually go back and watch Superman. The other ones I'd never seen. Serenity.
Still haven't seen Firefly, have you?
No, still haven't seen Firefly.
Loads of people switching off now.
And
Or just chucking things at the...
No. Well, it's not like I've never seen The Matrix or nothing, is it?
Oh, let's not get into that.
So it was, yeah. And you know what? I've actually learned things. I just love stupid facts. So every episode we've done, one of us has come with a stupid general trivia, like, so and so is related to so and so, or so and so,
or the links between the episodes and stuff as well.
That's I just love anything like that.
Yeah.
So
when I mean by that, what I mean is like we've been some of the things that the same actors, like Young Guns, like Terence Stamp's appeared in a few more things, like which I wouldn't have even thought of Terence Stamp at the time when we were picking them. Have there been any highlights then of recording the 2 box sets?
Stand By Me, for some reason.
I thought that was a good one. It was quite personal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just... I remember just... I don't know. Like, it's... What we've already spoken about, the themes at the beginning, it just stood out to me. It was... We both... It was... I don't know, we both were a little bit reflective of ourselves watching Stand By Me, so that's definitely the one. As soon as you said that, I'm looking at the list, that's the one that just popped out to me.
Yeah. I've got 3 highlights, but it's not relating to the movies, films. One was we kept in, it's on the Serenity episode, where I say to you, "Are you alright?" And you say you're talking to me. Yes. And we decided we'll just keep that in because it was so stupid.
It was in the preamble, wasn't it?
The other was the IT crowd, when you were meant to say, "Have you tried turning it on?" Again? And even though it was the only time we've ever rehearsed an intro, you got it. And then the other one, which obviously the listener will never probably hear, when we tried to do the end credits promo thing, and we just couldn't say
outro.
We couldn't do it.
I do have that recorded somewhere. So maybe I'll add it to the end of this episode, because if you ever listen to on Boxset 2, we did an outro, which is basically just said this program was produced by blah blah blah. And obviously it's
we want to bring up Kenny, don't we?
Yeah, because we love Kenny. Kenny looks after our socials, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a star. But we just couldn't say it. We couldn't get through it. So Liam did it and laughed for we both laughed for about 10 minutes stupidly. And then obviously it come to my turn. And the giggles had already... That was it. It probably took about 20 minutes to record a 30-second, 20-second clip. So they were my highlights.
I quite like that... it's weird though, it's the general chats we had. The bit we were talking about the Ring camera, I seem to remember.
Oh, about whether you look at it?
Yeah, like people walking past your house and all kind of hey mate, where you going?
I like our random preambles though.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, do you think we've missed anything? Is there anything you go back and go, I forgot to say that?
I haven't. Fuming, I'm kicking myself.
I can't actually remember of any myself. Go on,
I'll do mine.
What have you got yours?
So when we did Superman, which was only recently, we went through the list of all the actors that was linked to Superman. And I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. And I've seen Kevin Smith live, listened to all his podcasts, follow him on Twitter, all that. Kevin Smith wrote a script for Superman, which Tim Burton was going to direct.
Of course, yeah.
And Nicolas Cage was going to be in it.
Oh my, you've
And it got scrapped, didn't it? And there's pictures of Nicolas Cage in the suit.
I'd forgotten about that.
Someone's even made, if you go on YouTube, there's two things I'd say to go on YouTube. Someone's made a cartoon trailer of what the film would have been, which is worth watching. It's only a couple minutes. And the other is listening to Kevin Smith talking about that experience of writing it, dealing with the producer whose name totally slips my mind, but I've actually listened to it a few times as well. And then we mentioned Arnie, Muhammad Ali, Al Pacino, and the ones where he actually nearly made a film.
Yeah.
I just totally forgot about it. So I want to edit it back in.
We'll go back and edit it. I've just remembered something literally that I missed in the IT crowd. You made a great joke about pedestal.
Yeah, because you mentioned how they say things.
They mispronounce words.
Yeah, and then I purposely did it and you just didn't get it.
I didn't get it, so it's basically not something, it's basically I missed.
You missed it from that.
And I go back and listen to it and I'm completely oblivious to it. And yeah, I can almost you can almost hear when you said it, you were so proud of yourself.
Still am.
It just goes over my head completely, so yeah.
Right, this is a tough one and we haven't had time to think about this one. Should we just say desert island scenario?
Okay.
You know, you can only pick one to watch. All the others you can never watch again.
To actually watch.
You can watch as many times as you want, but you cannot watch any of the others again.
Okay, Band of Brothers.
Yeah, because you watch it every...
Yeah.
We work out at least every 2 years. I might actually go with one of yours. I think Community.
Well,
I don't know if I could live without Community.
I think we both cheated because we picked box sets there, didn't we? So we've got multiple things to watch. Like, if you'd lived on a desert island and you had one film, it's a bit like...
I've got 6 seasons and hopefully a movie soon.
You see, it was a bit like, remember I said the one of the reasons I love Coming to America is because I had a copy of it on VHS that I used to watch.
But saying that, LA Confidential is my favourite film and I don't know if I could ever go the rest of my life knowing you can never ever watch it. Because that's the rules. The rules are you can never watch them items. It's really tough. I think I probably would still pick Community, you know. Because we do love it, don't we?
Yeah. We
love Band of Brothers, so they're good picks then, I think.
Yeah. Okay, then what about... Here's one. If we could have any guest on the show from one of the episodes we've done. So it could be... I mean anyone, could be an actor, it could be a director, writer, producer, anyone connected with any of the programmes or films. Who would you like to have as a guest? And what would you say to them? What would you ask them?
I'll do 2. Like, one, I think we'd love to have Rob Reiner on.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
Because of Stand By Me and obviously all those other films. So we just batter him with questions about all his other films.
It'd just be like, Rob, tell us something.
But if I'm going to be sentimental and we're talking anyone, like any scenario, you'd want to speak to Christopher Reeve about Superman. I would. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you ever had that, if it was sort of
he would
way
be,
to do that.
He had an interest in life regardless anyway, wouldn't he?
I'm going to be really sentimental and pick, if I could speak to anyone living or dead, let's get Christopher Reeve on the show, you know, that would have been amazing. What about you?
I've got a few people. I think having Charlie Sheen would be an interesting podcast.
I don't know if we've got the budget for the drink and the drugs. We can't fit his loyal army of prostitutes in this room.
I would just I think it'd be interesting. Who else would
What's that in relation to then?
I just think
Like, obviously it's Young Guns, isn't it? But what else would you want to ask him about?
I just want to like.
You just want to meet him.
Like where the, what the hell? Where? How did you do all this? How are you still alive?
Is that the first question?
What's like? How are you still here? Like, I don't get it. Like, the stories you hear, that man should not be here. It's just
He's a medical marvel, isn't
he? He is.
Anyone else?
I would.
And you can say Paddington.
Would love Paddington, but I feel like Ralph Macchio would be like. I just think that would be a lovely podcast. If that makes it, he would just be really amazing.
He's really like embraced like Karate Kid now, because of Cobra Kai. And obviously he's got a book out. He'd be really good. I'm going to throw an additional question there. Who wouldn't we want on?
Who wouldn't we want on?
Yeah.
Okay. Graham Linehan.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah,
and like
we talked about this on the podcast. Obviously, the reasons behind that, but I wouldn't want him on. Yeah, fuck him.
Kevin Spacey.
Still to be charged, but Toddchi. Yeah. I mean, we get a lot of listens if we I get him on.
I don't think I'd want
Josh Whedon now.
Yeah,
because he's obviously in bad books. He's got a few things. It's such the Josh Whedon one kills me, to be honest. I'm such a fan.
Yeah.
And then when the stories started coming out, so he'd probably be someone we could get.
I wouldn't want Kevin Costner in case he wasn't nice. I'd be just
Don't Meet Your Heroes type thing. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if he came on, because apparently there's a lot of fallout on Yellowstone, isn't there? Taylor Sheridan and stuff. So yeah, maybe not Meet Your Heroes.
Who wouldn't you want on?
Yeah, Josh Whedon, probably just because of all the stories. Trying to think who would really stand out.
I'm just looking.
But our picks are quite good, aren't they? Like, I think they're sort of good films as well, aren't they? That we love, but the actors in them are all likeable. Everyone from.
I feel like I need to go.
Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Because again,
but
absolutely love Chevy Chase.
The reason to have him on is also the reason not to have him on. If that makes sense.
I just think he'd be terrible. I did listen to it. He was on something recently, and I think it was the Dana Carvey, David Spade one, and he was awful.
I reckon Kelsey Grammer would be a bit weird as well.
Possibly, yeah. And again, you wouldn't want to meet him, and it just shatters that illusion, doesn't it? Yeah, for me, I love Chevy Chase so much that if he came on and was an absolute divvy, it would shatter like 30 years of fandom. So yeah, that's who I wouldn't want on.
Though I am the question of who would I love, I've got to go back to Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant would be amazing, yeah.
That would be boss.
It'd just be fun over, it'd be embarrassing.
Yeah, it would just be like, oh.
We can't get our words out, because I was Notting Hill. We love him, don't we?
But the same with Clooney. Clooney, I'd just be like...
I wouldn't want to stand next to Clooney. We wouldn't get a photo next
to him. Do you know what?
You'd feel awful about yourself, I think.
I'd get the feeling that Jackie would listen to the podcast if we got George Clooney on.
I think a lot of people would, yeah. Not to us. They've got to edit our bits out.
Yeah, just George Clooney talking.
The George Clooney cut. Did want to listen to. That was our DVD extra. We look forward to you joining us for Box Set 3 coming soon.
Bye.